Welcome to Zolder. It's time for the third race of the 2012 FIA GT3 European Championship here at Zolder. And as in GT1, we turn the sprinklers on before this race gets underway. We've made the circuit nice and wet, just as it was bone dry earlier on for, as I say, the third round of this championship. My name is Jack Nichols. Hayley Coxon is going to be running around the grid, telling us if they're on wets or slicks. And alongside me in the commentary box is John Watson. John, I'd heard a lot about the Belgian weather. It's raining and then it's dry and then it's raining and then it's dry, but it's not until you come here that you realise that actually that's absolutely true.
Well, first of all, nobody wants predictability, and just by magic somebody's turned the tap on, but also they've turned the freezers on because the ambient temperature now is 7 Celsius, track temperature 13 Celsius. So the prospect of the track maybe drying out during the duration of this race is diminished.
So the two Science-Lock Racing Audis definitely ones to keep an eye on. They just didn't really hook up qualifying. I think they've got the pace in the cars unquestionably, because qualifying 2 they were first and second, but we had a dry start to the first qualifying session, then it rained a bit, everyone got a bit scared and came back into the pits thinking it wasn't really going to work out for them, but then it dried up enough for them to go out and have another bash at it. So it was a bit hit and miss really, that first qualifying session this morning. Hopefully for Stefano Guy this start won't be hit and miss. He's hoping to nail it first time and hold the lead as he comes into turn 1. So we wait for the lights to go out here at Zolder. The third round of the championship is underway, and Guy has got a decent start actually. He's going to hold the inside line on the run down into turn 1. They're all starting to fan out behind, but it's Guy who gets in the lead. Up into second place has gone the Audi, trying to go all the way around the outside, and a spin for the 50 car. Adagna Perez has spun on the exit of turn 1. Looked like he did it all by himself, I think.
I think that was just lack of grip, maybe a little bit too much throttle, just destabilised the car. But it's the Ferrari of Stefano Guy who's consolidated, and the Mercedes, who I thought might have been a real challenger, has been squeezed out by the third place starting Audi of Cesar Campagno.
So down they come towards turn 5, and Campanico is desperate to regain the position that he presumably felt was wrongly taken away from him.
And remember, we think that the Audi in these conditions is probably the more compliant of those cars. Certainly Campanico pushing hard on the exit, the Mercedes following, and then the first of the Lamborghinis running fourth.
So into the section at the end of, the halfway through the circuit I should say, 8, 9 and 10. Let's see how those two Audis are progressing. They've already made up 2 positions, although one of them was Adagna Perez, who of course spun. He's recovered very well actually, considering he did a full 360. He's right on the back of the pack already. But up at the front, Cesar Campanico is going to be putting Stefano Guy under some serious pressure already in this race. Dominic Baumann doesn't look like he can live with them at this moment in time, but the track conditions, even if it doesn't go fully dry, the track conditions are going to evolve. It is going to get drier, and that might suit some cars.
It's a question of whether it happens slowly or more slowly, and whether it'll be sufficiently dry at the point when the pit stop opens up. And Stefano Guy has done a good job in the opening lap to consolidate that pole position, the one that he was actually gifted, and maintain the lead from Campanico in the Audi, who probably is the quicker of the 2 cars if they were able to run in clear air. The 2 center-lock Audis themselves now racing, diving down the inside, and that is Gregory Givert taking the position away from his teammate.
Yep, so that means that moving up is that's Marc Sord, isn't it? Yes, so Marc Sord has got past Jerome Demey, and now Jerome Demey is going to come under pressure from Adagna Perez in towards turn 4. The AF Corse team looking on as their man dives up the inside and makes it past Jerome Demey for 8th position, I think that is now, possibly 9th actually, I apologise, as they come down towards the first chicane. There's one of the Russian Bear Motorsport machines. Miguel Torrell is starting that one, but at the moment Stefano Guy is pulling away just a little bit up at the front, starting to extend his advantage. Once again, Dominic Baumann fast in Sector 1, fastest of anyone so far. Took 0.3 of a second out of Stefano Guy in Sector 1 alone, so he's very much on it, Baumann, but whether he can make a move or not is another question. The 4 car of Torrell is into the pit lane. Miguel Toril. They don't look like there's any particular problem.
Well, there's bits of bodywork. No, that car been towed back in. Oh, where did that go? We didn't see that being towed back in. But that car clearly has had a tow back into the pits. Wonder, was that involved in any way with the DeMay incident that we saw a little earlier? Certainly that Ferrari is not going any further this afternoon. Now the Audi looking to make a move on the Ferrari, coming down pit straight but not close enough. The gap down to just under half a second, so the time did reduce. And once again, Campanico is putting pressure on that lead Ferrari.
As the three cars exit onto the start-finish straight, 0.8 of a second between them. Last time the three crossed the line is now 7.5 of a second, so it all begins to close up just a little bit more.
I think Dominic Baumann's best shot is going to be when he's looking to come up and dive down the inside into turn 2. Can he get the Mercedes into position? He's got it. Well, he wimped out of that one. I think he could have been a bit more forceful and planted that, Swabian Mercedes-Benz, the pride of Untertürkheim, and again into turn 4. Had he not made the move into turn 2, possibly turn 4 would have been achievable, but he compromised his own entry into turn 2. Consequently, he didn't have the momentum out into turn 4.
Thought about going for it into the chicane as well, but Campanico closed that line. Is there going to be contact there? These two are battling hard, but very, very fairly. It's brilliant to watch as they climb the hill, descend through turn 7. Again, it plays into the hands of Stefano Guy. There's gravel on the track at turn 16. That's why the slippery surface flags were out.
Good. So we're going to say Ingolstadt white on the silver of Stuttgart. Here we go, down again, down the outside on the approach into the left-hand turn 5. Was there paint exchanged? I don't think there's going to be any insurance claim in that one, do you?
No, I don't think so. And here's the two for the race lead around the outside. Tries to go Cesar Campanico. He's almost got alongside, but now that's the chance Dominic Baumann needs, and he moves up into that second position. So Baumann up into second place. There must have been a mistake from the Ferrari down at the chicane to allow the Audi to get up alongside. Apparently he was just all out of shape coming through the chicane. Audi went for it. Merck took its chance.
Well, that's all you need. When you're in a race like this, it's not about you making the move, it's about somebody else giving you the opportunity, because they've made a small error, and that's all it took for Dominic Baumann to get past Campanico and the Audi. Now, having got past his bête noire in the shape of the Audi, can he move on with this momentum and tackle the lead Ferrari? Stefano Guy, defence up into turn 5 once again, and the Merc breathing all over and under the rear wing as they bounce and hop over the curbs into 5 and out over 6.
Here's a look at the replay then. So
he's way away. Yeah, he overran into turn 15, and that was where the Audi got the momentum. But Audi on the outside, and the Ferrari forcing it even wider over the curb, losing traction. The Mercedes sees all this. Campanico's boxed in effect by the Mercedes, and to a lesser degree by the Ferrari, and job done to the Mercedes.
Here's Stefano Guy, who has been given a warning flag, the black and white driving standards flag for not respecting track limits. Mercedes in, so they're going to have to spend 15 seconds longer in the pit stops than their rivals, but they're going to be going on to slicks first, just to try and get into clear air.
Good call, because Ferrari are now going to be, let's say, for the next bit of the lap, delayed by the Audi's got out of the way now, so Stefano Guy didn't really suffer too much. Mercedes taking the opportunity to get out of this battle. They knew that this was a move that may be the winning move. Wait and see. Driver one out.
No tyre change.
I can't believe they're not putting a set of slicks on that car. Certainly they had the tyres out on the pit wall to decide if they had wets or dries, but that they decided. Look, we'll go back to Nagaro 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
We thought that some drivers should go to slicks. We said to others, no, they're going to stay. The Audi stayed on the wet weather tyres. It was only
Mercedes
this car
that went to slicks.
Yeah, they went, but it only came to them at the very last lap.
There's no badge on the front of that car, because that's what fell off, John. He turns in and just taps the back of the Ferrari there, and off comes the 3-point start.
Yeah, well, that's about a 50 quid. I beg your pardon. Sorry, Mercedes-Benz 500 quid item. Those don't come cheap from authorised Mercedes dealers.
Will they, of course, pit this time? They do. And is it going to be for slick tyres? And if so, how far ahead is he going to come in? The Nova driver comes in as well. Cesar Campanico, he'll hand over to Nii Amarim. But into the pits comes the AF Corsa car. And the squad are ready down there in the pit lane to get this pit stop sorted as quickly as possible. Will there be a tyre change? That's going to be the key question.
Well, anybody who's going to take the gamble on going on slicks, it's difficult to put either your... Oh, well done, Stefano. You did a great job, but you just snooker bowl the pit board about 3 pits down the lane. So they're going to stick with their wet tyres as well. So it doesn't look as though anyone really has taken the gamble to move on to slick tyres. I think that most people feel that, okay, there is a drying line, but there's probably sufficient moisture within the track still to enable them to run on these. And these are very durable wet weather tyres. There you can see in the exit of turn 12 there is a clear dry line, but the majority of the racetrack is still very slippery. The
Nova driver car just went past Michael Lyons in the pit stop, so out first will come Nii Amorim, then it will be Michael Lyons. But where is the number 1 machine? Now in the hands of Maximilian Buch. He's just coming over the start line now. There he is. So Maximilian Buch is going to come out in 3rd position, as we expected, because he had to spend longer in the pits. But what kind of pace is he going to have?
Need to be very careful the way the Ferrari exited the pits. Michael Lyons came perilously close to that line. There is the... Now, what in effect will it be 3rd or not?
Possibly 4th. I think he's going to be behind that 11 Lamborghini as well.
I think it is, and that Lamborghini is the car that's been setting those stunning first sector times.
And that was almost a challenge on, wasn't it?
For
the lead, and Michael Lyons is through. He's back past, so Michael Lyons regains the lead ahead of Nii Amorim now in the 14 Nova driver Audi. So Michael Lyons, as I say, back into the lead of this race. And here you can see the side-by-side that we just briefly saw, but this is how it happened. And
yeah, I mean, Michael Lyons was a bunch quicker coming out of turn 4. And I mean, it was a no-brainer. He was just simply miles an hour quicker. The Audi could do nothing about it, and Michael Lyons took that place.
As they crest the hill, down through turn 7. And then into 5 and 6, they're starting. Well, they've already caught Nii Amorim, actually, so it's a 3-way train for 2nd position.
Nii Amorim's just being swamped by these 2 cars. Clearly not able to run at the pace of the Ferrari and Michael Lyons, and falling back and about to be swallowed up by Lamborghinis one side, Lamborghinis both sides. The second of those Lamborghinis is not in contention. Number 11 has just gone all the way around, the long way around, and how long will it take for Buch in the Mercedes-Benz to add more pain?
Well, the blue flag was just waved actually at the wrong Lamborghini there, so I hope that doesn't confuse poor David Mengsdorf. But into the left-hander they come. Nii Amorim struggling to really find any grip. I mean, we can see the Nova driver pit stop. There is a chance that they... well, no, he's going to the wet line, so he probably didn't change to slick tyres. Fastest lap of the race, that last time, was the number 2 car of Max Nielsen in 5th position. You could just about see him, and here's the move. Nii Amorim about to be overtaken by Maximilian Buch into turn 2. Easy as you like.
Classic overtake, good run out of turn 1. Got the momentum, shoved the nose of the Mercedes up the inside into turn 2. Nii Amorim knew that there was no way he could defend it, and he just said, look, I've given it up.
20 minutes remaining in this FIA GT3 European Championship race. It's Michael Lyons in the lead. 2nd place is David Mengsdorf, who has...
he's 1 wide. Big slide coming out of turn 1, and Dominic Buggy spun it. He has spun it.
Good spot, John, and Dominic Baumann has... Maximilian Buch has spun on the exit of the first corner. He recovers and retakes the pit lane entry. I was just about to say that the gap is coming down for the lead. The number 11 Lamborghini is going to be challenging Michael Lyons before too long. I thought the number 1 Mercedes was coming with him, but here's the replay.
Yeah,
well, that's the end of it, isn't
just
it?
On the exit of turn 1, he ran the painted cement curbing on the exit. It's almost like a runoff on the outside of turn 1. Much slipperier than the racetrack, and he just got the car onto it. Once it was on it was out of his hands, and he just had to sit there and wait until the car came to a standstill.
Here's the battle for the lead. The Lamborghini right up behind Michael Lyons now, and all of a sudden David Mengsdorf has got himself in the rhythm, and Lyons taking a very wide line. Then he sees the attack. It's not going to be close enough. He's going to send it up the inside. The Lamborghini super late on the brakes. Can he get it stopped? Yes, he can. Brilliant move. I didn't think he was quite close enough. Lyons is going to try to get the comeback, but he can't.
No, that was a courageous move. There was no margin for error. The thing was, he got through the chicane without having to run away. Look at Thomas Enger. What's that, the prancing bull? Yeah, it is. And that's not Thomas. Thomas is not the prancing bull. It's the Lamborghini's the prancing bull.
So there was the move. I think Lyons thought he had defended it, but, well, I was going to suggest maybe that Lamborghini changed onto slick tyres, but all that braking was done on the wet part of the circuit. So we didn't see him change to slick tyres.
We didn't see that car, and we didn't see that.
Oh no, you can see wets. I could see grooves just as he went over the crest of the hill. So he is still on the wet tyres. He's trying to find the wet line as well. But some very impressive pace from David Mengsdorf. He moves into the lead of the race with 17 minutes, I should say, to go. Irrespective of the various pit stop penalties that were applied, Mengsdorf has definitely got the pace. He's the fastest man out there, apart from Giuseppe Ciro, who, again, must be on slick tyres because he's running 10 seconds a lap quicker.
Yeah.
And there you can see Ciro on what is a fairly dry circuit now. They took the gamble, and it's paying off at the moment. And you can see there's the Mercedes and Audi just up in front.
And you know, when you're in this situation, you're probably the only car on slicks and everybody's on wet. You think your car is absolutely magic. Wherever you put it, it's got grip. You can lean on it. You can really make the car work the way it's designed to do. You're not having to pussyfoot around in a set of tyres that have done the best part of 50 minutes racing and are only going to deteriorate by the lap, by the corner. And Ciro just lumping over those curbs. I mean, just using every bit of the racetrack and bits more. He needs to be careful not again to get the attention of the stewards by abusing the circuit.
Yeah, he has already had the warning flag, but he's got such a speed advantage with these slick tyres. Look at this, he's just going to coast past this Mercedes before too long. I think he had to get out of the throttle there in order to find a way past. Looks to the inside for the final chicane. This is going to be an easy job on the brakes for Giuseppe Ciro, and through he goes up into 5th position. He'll have dealt with knee hammering by the time they cross the start-finish line. He's got so much more traction on the exit of the corner, and Giuseppe Ciro comes across the line. He was 35 seconds behind the leaders. He's now 23 seconds behind the leaders. So there's some real excitement down there at AF Corse. Thumbs up.
And 11.5 minutes of this race remaining. So Giuseppe Ciro is on a mission, and he knows that he's got a car that could give him a podium with 11 minutes, 20 seconds, and what is the total distance he's now about? 23 seconds. He ought to gobble that up comfortably, assuming that he doesn't get bogged down. He's going up against another Mercedes.
Well, this is for 3rd place. He's about to pass Mika Vähämäki for 3rd position into the chicane.
Look at the Mercedes under braking those wet weather tyres. You can see in dry conditions. Look, he just pulls out miles quicker, even on the slick tyre, able to go around the outside like he's not there. I mean, what an illustration of the difference between a slick tyre in these conditions and a wet weather tyre that is absolutely begging for mercy.
You can see the two AF Corse Ferraris now in shot together. The gap was 11 seconds at the end of the previous lap. It's now going to have been slashed down, and Michael Lyons, well, surely he can't fight. Look at the amount of time he's been taking out in these past few laps. This lap time around, it is another good chunk of time, 7 seconds that time. So
just watch how much he's taking. He drives over the red and white, he's over the curbing, and he's got his wheel actually hooked in, and he hits those two markers which are specifically laid there to prevent him doing that. You know, the front suspension of that Ferrari, by the time it gets to the end of the race, it'll need a bit of attention.
Lyons getting out of shape up the inside into turn 12. Lyons gives him enough. Oh, he moves across. He's not giving up without a fight, Michael Lyons, but up into 2nd position goes Giuseppe Ciro, and he's now only going to be about 5 seconds behind the race leader now. 3.6 seconds was the gap between 1st and 2nd place. It's going to be nothing by the look how much time has been taken out. It's going to be nothing by the time they get down to the chicane, and the move will be done by the end of this lap, John.
Well, it's the prancing bull versus the prancing horse. Well, Thomas Enger, who we saw looking so happy a few minutes ago, well, that smile on his face as the Ferrari just miles quicker through the chicane. I mean, the Lamborghini just got out of the way because there was nothing it could do.
So Giuseppe Ciro takes the lead. Gaetano Ardagna Perez is delighted because he spun that car on the very first corner of the race.
Michael Lyons may get a shot and he makes the run down into turn 12. That's the corner that they're now about to approach.
I wonder if David Mengsdorf destroyed his tyres in the opening laps of his stint, because he pulled away from Michael Lyons very, very quickly indeed. And Lyons is now tucked right up behind as they exit turn 12. Nerves all over the place as our race leader is coming across the line now to start his final lap. But this battle for second place very much on at the moment. It's the 11 Rhinos Lippert Motorsport car. David Mengsdorf, who has it right up behind him, is the AF Corse Ferrari of Michael Lyons. This is going to be a fight on this final lap for the second position. Lyons looks to the inside down into turn 1. That's going to compromise his line and just drop him back a few car lengths. That could be crucial. Also could be crucial, Natalia Fradina. Is she going to hold up her teammate? Here she is. Lyons going around the outside. Oh, they contact.
And suddenly it was like a snooker match. Once again, the lead of the Lamborghinis collided with the sister car, and that stopped Michael Lyons. Was about to do the pass of the race by going around the outside of both, and suddenly Fradina's found herself being snookered across the track into the path of the Ferrari.
And that has dropped Michael Lyons back a few car lengths, and I don't think he will get another opportunity unless he sends it up the inside into the very final chicane. It's going to be a real challenge for Lyons to find a position to make it past. Downhill through turn 7. It's all over. This is the battle for second and third position. Giuseppe Ciro is 12 seconds up the road, and he's going to come through to win the race any moment now. But Michael Lyons right underneath the rear spoiler. But I think that little incident down there at turn 3 has just put the halt on Lyons' attack. His last chance is going to be down into the chicane, and the chicane is where our race leader is now, Giuseppe Ciro. An inspired switch to dry weather, slick tyres, sees him come from the back of the field at the opening of the first lap to take the checkered flag. It's not going to be enough for Michael Lyons. It's going to be a David Mengsdorf second position, unless Lyons can get a mega run over the start-finish straight. They cross the line with only 0.2 of a second separating them. The Lamborghini team very satisfied. They nearly weren't very satisfied because both of their cars could have been off.
We see this battle further on the field between the two Mercedes, and going to the favour of Nielsen.
Yeah, Mika Vähämäki in that car now with Max Nielsen, and Maximilian Buch finishing in 5th position. 6th place for Nee Amorim, who struggled to get up to the pace earlier on, but managed to sort it all out. And there you can see Giuseppe Ciro. Very, very happy Venezuelan.
Yep, and that
right
means a few more million litres of fuel, no doubt, as the Venezuelans. And a great drive indeed. Second place by Mengsdorf in that Lamborghini. Had to defend, and fortunately his team, or the sister car, happened to be at the right place at the right time. It looked like it was going to be the wrong place at the right time, but it worked for him.
Let's hear from our winners. They're down in the pit lane with Haley Ardagna Perez and Giuseppe Ciro.
Congratulations, Giuseppe.
Thank you, grazie. The race is very, very fast. My driver is good. My team for work, okay. Very happy.
Congratulations, Ardagna.
Thank you, thank you. The race is very good, very fast. My company is very fast in the race. Congratulations for all.
Okay. They're so entwined as teammates, they just say the same thing.
Yeah, all I have to say is Forza Ferrari. First Ferrari victory this year.
That's the second race in a row. We've had both AF Corse Ferraris on the podium. They picked up second and third in the second race at Nogaro. Now they've got first and third. Heiko Gravity Charoux's team possibly a little bit disappointed with fourth and fifth. They definitely had the pace to perform stronger than that, but that's where they were dealt, and they will be looking for more again tomorrow. Campanico and Nee Amorim were in there or thereabouts, challenging for podiums earlier on, but they fell back in the end. Toril and Rybov and Maliev and Ladygin completing 7th and 8th place for the Russian Bear Motorsport squad. Leon Machitsky and Natalia Fradina finished behind them in 9th position. And now the trophies to be awarded. First to our third place finishers. Michael Lyons looking fairly satisfied with that after they've been on the podium And I think they are the only pairing to have been on the podium for all 3 races so far this season. Stefano Guy, second, third and third. It won't be too long, I'm sure, before they pick up a trip to the top step of the podium. Second position, Harry Procek, the Austrian driver, and David Mengsdorf, the German driver, mainly racing in a DAC GT this year. But our race winners for AF Corse are Gaetano Agdagna Perez and Giuseppe Ciro, handed their trophies by the race director of Zolder here. Congratulations to our top 6 drivers and AF Corse as well. Good afternoon, welcome to Zolder for round 4 of the 2012 FIA GT3 European Championship, and miracle of miracles, it looks like we might have a dry race today. There's no rain around at this present time. There are some ominous looking clouds though here at Zolder. My name is Jack Nichols, I'm up here in the commentary box with John Watson, and John, this is some of the best weather we've seen all weekend at the moment.
Well, it's the best sky, but it's not very warm. Ambient's only 10.7 Celsius, and I doubt it's going to improve upon that, but we've got a dry track, and hopefully this track will remain dry for the duration of the 1 hour event. Well, there you see umbrellas going up and couples huddling together to stay warm.
Isn't that, we're going to have to do that in a minute if it gets a bit
this kind of racetrack.
We're hearing there are a few spots of rain out there somewhere, so this could be, I said at the top of the show, we're about to have a dry race, but they have spoken a little bit too soon.
If you look at some of the wet tyres in preparation, brand new sticker tyres.
We've got a red flag,
okay.
So I think they're going to be, sorry to interrupt you there, John, but I think they're going to be delaying the start, I would predict, so that the drivers presumably can change to wet weather tyres, because, well, it's not quite wet enough for wets just yet, but they're probably going to give it about 5 minutes just to see exactly what's going to happen.
Look at it now,
yeah.
It is lashing down.
Yeah, no, it looks like a very sensible decision from the race directors, because the rain has come, and it has come very hard indeed. You can see the Brollies are most definitely up here at Zolder in that little grandstand that I think is overlooking the final corner.
And it's still falling as heavily as it was a couple of minutes ago. The track close to getting saturated, not sufficiently bad where there's going to be standing water, but also it's going to drop the track temperature. I mean, it was 16 Celsius, which is not particularly warm, and this rain's going to take it back down to about 10 Celsius.
Dino Lunardi on pole, then Gregory Gilbert alongside him for a Sign-to-Lock Racing domination of the front row of the grid. The blue Sign-to-Lock Racing car is Dino Lunardi, whereas the red machine is the one started by Gregory Gilbert. Liam Rim and Kirill Ladygin on the 4th row of the grid. 5th row, Sergei Ryabov and Mika Vahamaki. And then Natalia Fredina. You can see just how different the conditions are. The first time we did the formation lap down to this camera shot, it was nice and bright, but all of a sudden the mist is up, the visibility is going to be very, very difficult, and the rain is still falling as they queue up in 2x2 formation. Natalia Fredina just a little bit further back now. She'll be catching up to the back of the pack before too long. This 1 hour race, 4th round of the championship, about to get underway. It's Sign-to-Lock Audi locking out the front row. Are they going to be first and second by the time we get to the first corner? The lights go green, away we go. It looks like a pretty good start from Giuseppe Ciro. He's going to be challenging into turn 1, looks up the inside. Can he go from 3rd to 1st? He's squeezing up the inside. They rub door mirrors, but he is through. Around the outside goes David Mengsdorf as well, and spins back across the circuit. We've also got Cesar Campanico spinning as well. So 2 go round at the first corner. Mengsdorf completes a lovely 360, carries on going, but up at the front it is Giuseppe Ciro in the lead, or is it? That's Michael Lyons. Michael Lyons has spun off. They're at turn 2, really struggling with the conditions, aren't they?
I don't know whether Michael Lyons was assisted or not, but the other two were certainly unassisted, just giving you an indication just how tricky turn 1 is. And both the Lamborghini and the Audi spinning independently of each other. The Lamborghini gets going, but a very combative turn 1, where we saw the Ferrari dive down the inside of the Audi and effectively take position, but that's now been lost. In fact, Lunardi has got that back.
Yeah, he must have done that up at turn 4 whilst we were watching the pirouetting Lamborghinis. So into the chicane we come. We've got Audi, Ferrari Audi, and then a good start actually from Maximilian Buch in the number 1 Heiko Motorsports car, then another good start from Mika Vähämäki. So out on the run down to turn 12 they come, and wow, look at that, the visibility is very, very poor. It's really raining hard out there. The rain has stopped now on the start-finish straight, but Gregory Gilbert is right behind Giuseppe Ciro now as they come down into the final chicane, wiggling just out of that Jackie X chicane, but it's normally completely flat in the dry.
I mean, it is flat, it's probably flat in the wet, but you're having to balance the car very gently on the throttle and make sure you're not, you say flat out, you've just got to be careful because the left-right isn't really a corner, but it can catch you unawares as the Leonardi has opened up a gap, well, 3/4 of a second as he comes across the line. Giuseppe Ciro second in the Ferrari, and Gregory Gilbert third. So those three have made a small break with a 1.5 second difference then to 4th place.
There's Michael Lyons coming across the line in 10th position. Only Natalia Fredina behind him. So let's have a look at the start again. It was a great start from Ciro. He got to the inside, but and this was very close into turn 1.
Yeah, I mean, you see he got squeezed and he forced his way through, got the Ferrari into the lead. Then on the exit coming up, you see the Lamborghini go around, the Audi behind go around, but somewhere Dino Leonardi returns
into turn 2.
Into turn 2, he puts the car on that inside into turn 2, and in effect returned the compliment to Giuseppe Ciro.
Yep, so that's how it worked. And then there's Michael Lyons. We were lucky that no damage occurred in there as well. Kirill Ladygin is looking very strong in his Russian Bear Motorsports Ferrari. He's challenging Maximilian Buch for 4th position. Buch gets on the water on the outside, and Ladygin goes through.
I mean, that was a very straightforward, easy pass. The Mercedes struggled big time. Maximilian Buch, he just was holding on, waiting for the grip to come, and the Ferrari just took the opportunity, got the traction. Simple pass, but that car of Ladygin was clearly running quickly. We saw that coming down pit straight. It had the momentum out of the chicane, and he was gifted that position simply by Maximilian Buch getting it wrong.
Here's a look at Michael Lyons. Is he going to be making his way past the second Russian Bear Motorsports Ferrari up the inside into turn 11?
Yeah, a good pass. Not an easy part of the racetrack to get it done, but he did all the work on the exit of 10 and then found the slot into turn 11.
Oh, very sideways on the exit of turn 1. Got onto the painted curb, and Gilbert goes around the outside at turn 2. So opportunistic move from Gregory Gilbert. 2009 Peugeot Spider Cup champion moves up into 2nd place. It's Sainz-Lock Racing 1 and 2.
I was just going to say the Ferrari is clearly the lesser of the two cars in these conditions, and Giuseppe Ciro was doing everything possible, but as you pointed out, he just caught even before he got.
That's a big slide.
Yeah, and that's just on the throttle, trying to consolidate your position, but just too much throttle. Even the traction control couldn't control that one.
So the gap for 3rd place is that's 2nd place man. Gregory Gilbert has gone around on the exit of turn 1. It must have been unassisted.
It certainly was unassisted, but for what reason? There was no reason. The track conditions are no different, and just again maybe running the curb on the outside of the corner just breaks the grip of the rear tyre. Wait and see, hopefully get a replay of that to understand it more fully. But that again, maybe loss of concentration, of just something unpredictable.
So that promotes Giuseppe Ciro up into 2nd position. Kirill Ladygin brought the gap down again by 0.5 second. Here's the replay. He's already out wide. And
that's the reason why he was on that white painted line. But he was way, way too wide in the exit of the corner, far too early in the exit. So strange line to have been taking in the first place, and he got penalised for it.
Down into the final chicane they come, and there's so much. Oh, there's a waved yellow flag down there, and off is one of the Ferraris. It's not Kirill Ladygin, our 3rd place car. It's Sergei Ryabov, who is down in 9th position. So it hasn't affected the front of this race. This could affect the front of this race, because here's the look up the inside, late on the brakes from Gregory Gilbert, and he gets that job done.
Yeah, that's a textbook pass going into turn 1 here at Zolder. Got on the inside, took control, was alongside in effect Nii Ameren, and therefore Ameren was unable to challenge back as the Ferrari were trying to get the snatch rope attached to it. Of course, the bodywork, the spoiler on these cars so low. As we watch, this is the battle for right now, 3rd place into turn 5, and you can see Giuseppe Ciro's car very, very loose in the rear, whereas the Russian Bear Motorsport car here, Kirill Ladygin, very much more stable, and that's why that car, the white, blue and red Ferrari, has run down the AF Corsa red Ferrari.
Yep, Giuseppe Ciro running in second place. Third place is the number 5 machine of Kirill Ladygin. They're both being closed in to the tune of 2 seconds on that last lap by the Mercedes of Maximilian Buch. You can see it there coming into shot, and he is closing in rapidly. All of a sudden, Giuseppe Ciro driving, looking in his mirrors rather than in front of him. Here's Lyons losing out to Mika Vähämäki.
Yep.
That was a move for 8th position. Vähämäki up into 8th. Lyons really struggling as well.
He's struggling, and the same thing, those 2 AF Corsa cars clearly nowhere near as comfortable in these conditions as the Russian Bear Motorsport. I mean, it came from a long way back, and Michael Lyons not in the position to make it difficult for the Mercedes, so lets the car go through. But
again,
just on these track conditions,
yeah,
to me, anybody that goes on a set of slicks in the next 6 or so minutes before the pit lane window shuts would need to have a very experienced driver behind the wheel. To put the bronze driver out in these conditions is going to really be asking an awful lot.
And Buch goes past then, so coming through turn 3, Maximilian Buch made it look fairly easy, really. Just got better traction coming out of turn 2 and made the move stick. He has to go defensive because Ladygin is coming back at him, but nowhere near close enough. So that Mercedes is looking very, very strong at the moment, goes very deep into the chicane. The Ferrari in front was getting out of shape as well. So as they crest the hill, then plunge down through turn 7, Maximilian Buch moves up into that 3rd place. Stefano Guy about to take over from Michael Lyons, as Giuseppe Ciro still hangs on to 2nd place. Into the pits comes Maximilian Buch. Then they're going to try and jump the AF Corsa Ferrari in the pit stop, of course. Oh, round he goes. That's a spin on the exit for Kirill Ladygin. Gets it going again, so just as we say the track conditions are drying, Ladygin drops it on the exit.
Well, you just got to be cautious. You can't assume that the track's going to be your friend. And you can see just the line that is appearing on the pit lane on the right-hand side of the pit lane as you drive down it. So Kirill Ladygin got it wrong as the Mercedes comes in, the second of the 2 Chirou's motorsport cars are in, and that will be a change also to slicks. But it's difficult to win. There's only a minute or so of the pit lane window remaining open, so it's going to be very busy for that closing minute. I think that the Giuseppe Ciro is going to be one of the last, along with Dino Lenardi, to make it into the pit lane, probably with about 30 seconds or so remaining. There is the race leader.
Yes, the difficulty is at the moment, Mika Vähämäki, who's gone out on the slick tyres, has done a middle sector of 46.8, which is 10 seconds slower than the fastest middle sector. So, I mean, the track will come to the slicks, but if you stay on the wets for long enough, you may be able to make the move stick. So there's a problem with the front left we just saw on that number 1 Heiko Motorsports car. He chugs away. Of course, the 50 car as well, Giuseppe Ciro, when he hands over to Ardagna Perez, is going to have to stay longer in the pits because of his success yesterday. Into the pits comes Dino Lenardi.
When that Mercedes left the pit, you could see that already just at the low speed he was doing, and with the pit lane speed limiter activated 60 kilometers per hour, and Giuseppe Ciro follows him in, that he was already, the slick tyre has got 0 grip at this point on a wet pit lane, let alone what it's going to be like on a wet circuit.
So Cesar Campanico comes across the line through a 45.1, which isn't particularly fast. So I think, despite the long pit stop here that Ciro and Ardagna Perez are going to have, there's still a chance they might come out in front of the Mercedes, because the Mercedes had a slow pit stop, has been out on the slicks, whereas the Ferrari's been out on the wets. This is going to be mighty interesting indeed, actually, to see where this Ferrari comes out. Dino Lenardi surely, unquestionably, will resume the lead of the race when he hands over to Jerome Demey in the 15 car. There they are, and well, they're staying on the wets. That's an interesting choice there. Jerome Demey, perhaps a less accomplished driver than Dino Lenardi, so maybe they're sticking with safety.
Well, interesting, what they're doing is they're pressuring those tyres as well, because the tyre pressure, if it gets high, then it causes a slight grind on the tyre, so they were repressuring those tyres, but sending that car back out with Jerome Demey behind the wheel on those wet weather tyres, and that may be the smart move of this race, because to put Demey out on a set of slicks where he may not be comfortable, although it will ultimately be slower, but the gains that he will make at this point with 23 minutes of the race remaining might just still be sufficient.
So we wait for the race leader, I think, to come through as Jerome Demey has exited the pit lane. And not where has he come out with regards to Dominic Baumann now in the number 1 Heiko Gravity Charoux car. There you can see 14, Cesar Campanico, exiting the final corner. He is now ahead of Dominic Baumann, but is he ahead or almost a lap behind? Let's see. Campanico comes across the line 4th. Baumann comes across the line in 5th place on the timing screens at the moment. So I think that 50 car of Ardagna Perez, if it has left the pit lane, which I think it did, will now be in front. We'll have to wait till the end of this lap for the timing screens to really sort themselves out a little bit as the Signs-a-Lock squad watch from the pit wall. We've got a stop and go penalty for car number 5, which is that machine there of Václav Majlev, who's now taken over.
And that was the car that was in the gravel trap at turn 15 much earlier in the race.
I think that was the 4 car, but we're about to see, this is unlapping himself now. Jerome Demey being unlapped, losing the lap he had put on Leon Machitsky. Machitsky, that 12 car, still down in 10th position. Demey in the lead of this race, but surely not for much longer, because once again we've got the 50 AF Corsa car on the slicks, hunting down the wet tyre shod race leader Jerome Demey. And there's 26 seconds between them, 20 minutes remaining in this race, and Demey's lap times are surely going to drop off substantially.
So there you can see just above the pits and to the far end of the circuit over turns 3 and 4, there are those black clouds, and it may have been at face value a mistake to keep this car we're watching now on those wet weather tyres, where everybody else was doing what fundamentally was the right thing, to go onto the slick tyre, because if it comes into rain, this car will be in the pound seat and everybody else will have to go back in again and refit wet weather tyres, because the rain that fell prior to this race getting underway, it had to be red flagged. The volume of water that fell in that 5 minutes was sufficient to just totally saturate the circuit.
Yeah, absolutely. So we've got a notification that incident of car number 51 will be under investigation after the race. That is Michael Lyons and Stefano Guy. I don't really remember them doing anything. I mean, Lyons had a little spin, but that's about it. So unless there was something else that we have missed, we'll obviously keep you informed if there's any developments, although that will be decided after the race. Across the line comes the 1 car of Baumann. Him and Procik have now moved up into 4th and 5th positions. That is the 11 car of Procik, after Václav Majlev had to make his drive-through 2-second drive-through penalty, 2-second stop-go penalty, I should say. So Majlev is now down into 6th place. It's 8 seconds a lap. That, well, there you can see visibly it's not going to be 12 seconds anymore as they cross the line. 47.1 for Jerome Demey, 37.7 for Gaetano Ardagna Perez. The gap is down to 2.7 seconds. End of this lap, it's going to be the Ferrari in the lead.
Yeah, but remember, there's a third element in this race, and that's skyward. And you can see the Signs-a-Lock Racing team on the pit wall, looking upwards to see, praying almost to bring the rain in that they need to get the victory there. The Ferrari just sweeps past going into turn 4. The pace that Ardagna Perez had on the slick tyres is just, you can see, it's now by the corner, it's almost like seconds, let alone on a lap. So the Ferrari has gone into the lead and will extend that lead. 16 minutes of the race remaining. For everybody, it's about will it or won't it rain.
Now this is going to be a move for position. It's 7th place, the battle, and we're hearing that actually the car 16 of Mark Sword is out on slick tyres, so just struggling to get any temperature and heat in those tyres, and he's about to lose that 7th place that he's inherited, because up the inside comes Stefano Guy and slides past. So 7th place for Stefano Guy, 8th place now for Mark Sword in the Signs-a-Lock Racing Audi.
Well, Mark Sword, his lap times have been running around about the 143s, maybe a 42. You know, that's a slick tyre run he's on. Clearly he has not got those tyres up to temperature anywhere near it, because the quickest lap right now is to Dominic Baumann at 134.233 on the Mercedes-Benz, and that's the car we're just seeing now going past what was the lead car.
Yep, Jerome Demey then instantly dropping down into 4th position now. Interestingly, Dominic Baumann is being closed in by Project behind, so that's now the battle over second position. You can see Baumann in that Mercedes, Project in that Lamborghini. So they turn into turns 5 and 6, and well, Jerome de May is going to be praying. Dino Lunardi is praying for the rain, and it is starting to slightly rain in the pit lane. This could be exactly what the Sainz-Lock squad needed, but they have now dropped probably 25 seconds off the lead. Here's Jerome de May about to lose his 4th position. The two Russian Bear Motorsports Ferraris are going to try and slice through either side. It's 4 cars all battling for one piece of racetrack. So Jerome de May drops down into 5th place as the number 5 car slides at the inside. De May runs wide, getting very little grip out there on the wet tyres.
Yeah, he was put under a lot of pressure, and he tried to defend as best he could, but just running out of grip. Simply the wet weather tyre hasn't got the braking capacity that the dry weather slick tyre has. He tried his best, and let's look at it again.
Yeah, Ferraris,
everywhere you're looking. And also, you can see the car squirming before he even gets onto that sort of whatever they put on to cover up whatever was on the track. It's not quite sand or soil, it's just brown. It's still all to play for, and of course you're coming around the circuit.
You can hear the rain.
Well, on the previous lap the track was bone dry, and now it's going to have that film of water on it, and all of a sudden the Lamborghini is closed right up to the tail of the Mercedes. And can he go down the inside? He's going to have a look. He's gone alongside, and he backed out of it. I thought he had it.
Yeah, it looked like he was close enough, didn't it? The Mercedes has gone straight on there down at the chicane. He didn't gain a position by doing that, but surely it's not going to be too long before the Lamborghini goes past. He does into turn 7, so Harry Procik up into 2nd place. Dominic Baumann really struggling as the rain comes here at Zolder. Again, it's eased off almost instantly here on the pit straight, but certainly out there at turns 1 and 2, 3 and 4 as well. It looked very slippery as they come onto this final lap down into the braking zone of turns 5 and 6. And it's just a case of tiptoeing, isn't it? And I think, well, that rain is going to hit that far into the circuit pretty soon. Wobbly on the exit through turn 11, someone's gone, and that is Cesar Campanico has gone on the exit of the fairly lowish speed, turn 10.
But it is slippery as you can believe. He gets the car going, no damage to that car, but indicative of just how tricky those conditions were. And we weren't quite sure about that car actually. Well, look at the Ferrari, you can see under power, look at squirming one way and the other way as Gandanga Perez tries to get the far down, but he's only got 2 corners to go, and he will take a victory here this afternoon.
Into the chicane then for the final time. Giuseppe Ciro started this car. They moved on to slick tyres, and it's going to be 2 wins out of 2 this weekend if he can keep it in a straight line over the finish line. The checker flag falls, and AF Corse will take the win. Lightning flashes over the far side of the circuit as they cross the line. But a joyous day for AF Corse. Ardagna Perez able to hold on. That must have been some nervy moments in the final few laps. Across the line in 2nd place comes Harry Procik. He whacked 6 seconds out of Perez's lead on that final lap. Shaking out of the final corner comes Dominic Baumann. He really struggled once that rain came down, didn't he?
Yeah, it's interesting that the Lamborghini with Procik was able, just once he got along ahead of the Mercedes, just drove away from him. I mean, like 2 different races. A very good drive by both drivers, and in particular I think you have to look at Giuseppe Ciro, because he was struggling really all the way through the wet stint and did all he could to keep that Ferrari as near to the front. But in fairness to the might call him the gentleman driver, it was Gaetano Ardagna Perez. He did a great job going out on slicks, not knowing how bad the track conditions were, didn't put a wheel wrong, and a double victory for this Ferrari pairing.
Ardagna Perez and Giuseppe Ciro are down there with Haley. Let's hear from them after a double victory this weekend in Zolder.
Ardagna, congratulations, a double victory for you this weekend.
Thank you. 2 races, 2 wins. My Giuseppe very fast in the water. Very happy. Thank you.
Thank you.
So the 2 of them delighted, working together very well in that AF Corse Ferrari team. Here's the race result. 13-second win in the end for the AF Corse Ferrari. Lamborghini 2nd, Mercedes-Benz in 3rd place. Then a big old gap back to the 2 Ferraris of the Russian Bear Motorsport car. And Stefano Guy and Michael Lyons recovering to 5th position after a troubled race for them, really. Numerous incidents, a couple of spins, a few difficult moments. Then 3 Audi R8s, all 3 of them 6th, 7th and 8th. Scientolock Racing cars, followed by the Team Nova driver machine of Cesar Campanico and Nee Amorim after Campanico had a spin on the very last lap. Number 2 Mercedes-Benz, Mac Nielsen and Mika Vakamaki, very quick, but they had troubles with their pit stop, and that means they finish in 9th place. Leon Machitsky and Natalia Frodina in 10th. Miguel Toril and Sergei Ryabov finishing 2 laps down after they had a spin at the chicane on probably about the 5th or 6th lap of the race. There are our race winners, Gaetano Adagna Perez and Giuseppe Ciro, taking to the top step of the podium. 2nd place, the Rhinos Liepert Motorsport car, David Mengsdorf and Harry Prochik. And in 3rd position, Maximilian Bug and Dominic Baumann. Championship leaders coming into this weekend, championship leaders coming into this race, but they have now been demoted to 2nd by the 2 men on top of the championship, the Venezuelan and the Italian on the top step of the podium. In the championship then, Gaetano Adagna Perez and Giuseppe Ciro move to the top, 4 points clear now of Dominic Baumann and Maximilian Bug in 2nd place. Stefano Guy and Michael Lyons remain 3rd, but they're just losing touch a little bit. Of course, this is only the 2nd of 6 rounds, so there's all to play for. Gregory Gilbert and Mark Sword in 4th. Top step of the podium for the 2nd time this weekend for Adagna Perez. Ferrari, Lamborghini and Mercedes make up our podium. And in the Teams Championship, that's going to have increased AF Corse's lead. The grid girls leg it, but not quite fast enough
a good shot, I tell you, that was a good shot.
Thank you very much for joining us. We'll see you in Spain.